So now pick up just the very next year, 2016, in our special normal coins. So we have another Native American one, which I think is probably one of the coolest ones of all. And this was the Navajo Code Talkers. Apparently they even worked during World War I. I hadn't known that. And then they used them again during World War II, to I think a much more extensive degree. So it was really incredible. They could, the Japanese or whoever we were fighting could hear them talking, but they couldn't hear what they were saying because they were talking the Navajo language that has such an incredibly different grammar that no one could penetrate it. So this is enhanced, uncirculated Native American. U.S. coins produced by the United States Mint, 2016 Native American $1 coin commemoratives. Vital contributions Native American code talkers made during World Wars I and II. The reverse tails design features two helmets and two feathers that form a V, symbolizing victory, unity, and the important role code talkers played. It includes the inscription United States of America, $1 World War I, World War II, code talkers. The obvious features the familiar portrait of the Sacagawea, first introduced in 2000. So there we are. It's a standard coin, except that it is in an enhanced design. Okay, but let's get back to that momentarily. So, Native Americans have served in all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, honorably defending the nation in many conflicts and wars, including World War I and World War II. Those who later came to be known as the Code Talkers sent coded messages about enemy positions, troop movements, and other critical battlefield intelligence. While some Code Talkers pioneered the codes, others built upon them or created select codes for use in specific areas of operations. The language and dialects the Code Talkers became our country's secret means of communication, which was critical to winning the war. This marked the first time in modern warfare that transmission of messages in native languages was used for the purpose of confusing the enemy. This code was used extensively during the wars and proved to be unbreakable. So, there we have that. Okay, and now let's see the Sacagawea here. And they throw in another dollar bill. And then here's the enhanced version of the front. Now this is a little bit different. They decided to give a frosted tone to the raised items and a kind of not shiny but smoother background. Pretty amazing. Okay. So that's what they did for that. Now, there were 3 more presidents left when they got to 2016 because the rest, well, you had the current president and you had others, all of whom are still alive. We're not going to put a living president. You have to be dead for a couple of years first. So, but Reagan was gone and had been gone for more than 2 years. So once again, you have the same booklet, his life, accomplishments, and background, and so forth. And here you'd have authentic engraving of Ronald Reagan's presidential portrait was produced by the U.S. Department of the Treasury's Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Ronald Reagan. So this talks about his life here. Only 2 months into his first term, he survived an assassination attempt. But he survived that and managed to complete 2 full terms of the presidency, which is actually somewhat amazing. Now, we actually put a fair amount in this kit, a little more than usual, because it's the only one they did the presidential. They had 2 other presidents left over, Nixon and Ford. For some reason, they decided to skip those and go directly to Ronald Wilson Reagan. Ronald Reagan. Okay. So there he is. So it's kind of neat. The shaded background, this is the reverse proof, and same usual reverse proof of the Statue of Liberty in the back. So that is our coin. So now they threw in a couple other things here. A medal, Ronald and Nancy Reagan, by act of Congress. Peace through strength, distinguished leadership. Yep, he led America to a very prosperous time. I think that's what happens when you have a president who is not corrupt. And they even threw in an American eagle for 2016. So just as a little something extra. He had, of course, allowed the American eagle to become the bullion coin during his term. Now, the other big event for 2016, and this is really crazy, but it's also really neat. And that has to do with our the coins released 100 years before. The extraordinary designs that came out first in 1916. The Mercury dime. And now here's a Mercury dime struck in gold. Identical, but having the date of 2016 and W mint mark. Oh, by the way, somebody asked me in a small contest, what's the mint of the last Mercury dime ever made? And I'm thinking, well, PDNS were all active in 1945, and they all went to the Roosevelt dime in 1946. So I'm thinking, and I had forgotten that I actually had this one. The last mint was actually the W mint that made this this Mercury dime dated 2016. Well, that's one. Then there was another one. Well, we had 3 coins that came out. So the next one was the Standing Liberty. Now, Standard Liberty in 1916 barely made it out at all, with a very tiny mintage from just the Philadelphia Mint, but at least a little bit of them were seen. But here it is in gold, and there's the reverse in its appearance, its original appearance, by the way. So it has the mint mark in its usual place, in this case a W. This space is used to tell us how much gold is in this. So that was the 2016 or the 1916. And then one more design released in 1916, and this one, completely replaced the previous design for the $50, the old barber design. And that had to do with the Standing Liberty $50. How can I get this out of here? Got stuck in there. And again, Standing Liberty design, dated 2016. The W mint mark back in its original location for the mint marks. And there it was. There, the transformation was complete. 1915 was still the old design, and 1916 was entirely the new design. Unlike the quarter that barely got any of their design in 1916, and the dime, about half of them were the new Mercury dime, and the old barber design. So there this is, and that commemorated 100 years for this design, which, as you can see, has seen use again on our large silver bullion coins. So that's pretty neat. That is a very, very memorable design. Well, that's all I'm going to have for 2016. We'll continue that in another one. Thanks for watching.